What's going on, YouTube? My name is FG3000 and welcome back to SMITE Meta Casual News. In today's episode, all about Mr. Kuang. Let's get right into it. Once again, my name is FG3000, you're you, and here comes the news. Alright, so let's talk about Mr. Kuang. Now, first things first, a lot of people have already seen Kuang. You've seen his model, you've seen his abilities from either data mining or the Chinese beta. A lot of what you already see here has already been revealed weeks ago, so I'm not going to bore you with a lot of the details, but I will go through the abilities, just kind of get a frame of reference. But mostly in this video, I want to kind of talk about the current meta and where I think Kuang will fall as far as what lane and how strong he's going to be, etc, etc, etc. So let's get started. Like I said, let's just go through the abilities really quick. Let's start off with the passive, which is called King Sword. Now, this is a pretty straightforward passive. You don't do anything. Over time, your sword regenerates charges, and as you use abilities, as long as you have charges on your sword, you will do extra damage. There's nothing else you have to actually do. It automatically regenerates, and it automatically uses when you use abilities, and it'll, like I said, it'll give you extra damage. The extra cool thing about this sword is this: once you are completely out of mana, you can use your energy charges to cast abilities. So that's pretty cool. You're gonna run out of your energy sword charges pretty quick doing that, but it could save you in a pinch. So not too bad. His next ability is called Water Illusion. This is a short range blink that also immediately puts you into stealth, just like Loki. So this is one of those skill capabilities. This is what's going to separate the lesser Kuangs from the greater Kuangs, just like Loki. You know, the biggest difference between really top tier play Loki is all about vanish and tricking your enemies into thinking that you're somewhere else, or laying damage down when they least expect it. Water Illusion is going to be a similar ability. Using this ability to a top level, like I said, is going to make you a top tier Kuang player. So concentrate on this ability. His next ability is called Dragon Call, which is very interesting. And I'm sorry, let's actually go back to Water Illusion. My mistake. So once you do the short range blink, you're in stealth. You can also pop your Water Illusion and do damage. So unlike Loki, you can actually blow up your decoy. Sorry, buddy. Now let's move on to Dragon Call. So Dragon Call is pretty cool. You pop your ability and nothing happens. You just look really cool. Dragons surround you, you're intimidating, and most people will just base back to the base and you don't have to worry about them. That's all it does. There's no movement speed, there's no shield, there's no nothing. I kid. So once you pop Dragon Call, you have, I would say you have about 3 options, maybe even more. So you pop Dragon Call, you're surrounded by dragons. You can use every single one of your dragons into one big shot and shoot a direct straight line nuke, you know, through a lane or hit an enemy with it, and it also will slow them. That's your first option. Your second option is this: you can get next to whoever you're fighting and start auto attacking them. Every single dragon you do corresponds to one of your attacks. So how many dragons is this? I can't, it's not on the tooltip. Let's just say you're surrounded by 5 dragons, because it's not on the tooltip. Good job, Hi-Rez. Let's say you're surrounded by 5 dragons. If you do 5 auto attacks, every single auto attack you do, a dragon will pop out and hit your enemy automatically, doing extra damage. So pretty cool. So what you can kind of do, you can kind of get creative with it. Let's say you come up on an enemy, you Water Illusion next to them, you hit them twice with your sword, meaning you have 3 dragons left, and then somehow they run away. Well, then you can use your Dragon Call direct line nuke ability and use the rest of your 3 dragons to shoot a nuke at them and also slow them. So pretty cool interactions with this ability. Like I said, this along with Water Illusion are going to be skill cap abilities. The way you use these 2 abilities is really going to dictate how good you are with Mr. Kuang, the Mighty Sword. Now, his third ability, not a skill cap ability, is very straightforward. It's a frontal cone that does damage, but it does apply on-hit item effects, so this counts as a basic in-hand attack. So what does that mean? That means if you have an item like Telcon's Ring, or if you have an item like Demonic Grip, also of course the mighty Polynomicon. So you can have a Polynomicon proc on your character. You use this 3 from range and it will proc Polynomicon because it counts as an in-hand attack. So very interesting ability. Like I said, it's probably one of his more straightforward abilities, but he still has another layer that he can kind of interact with depending on what your item build is. So last but not least, his ultimate is called King of the Eastern Seas. This is an execute ability a la Thanatos, but you don't go up in the air. It's a frontal cone. Once you get them into execute range, you throw them up in the air, you go up in dragon form, and you eat them. Now, you can't move once you're up in the air. So once you're up in the air, you can stay up there, you can hang out, you can send a text to your girlfriend, tell your mom you're gonna wash the dishes later, but you have to come straight down. You can't move, you can't turn around, you can't do anything. It's not like Nuwa, it's not like Thor or Thanatos. You go straight up, and then you go straight back down, and you have to. But the cool thing is, you can execute somebody on the way up, and then you can do damage on the way down. So, pretty powerful ability. And the cool thing about this is this, just like Thanatos, you have a use even though you're not executing people. So when you think about Thanatos, you come down, you also stun people and do damage with Thanatos, right? So you don't always have to use it as an execute. The same thing with Kuang. If you use your ultimate on an enemy, you still throw them up in the air and you still do damage. So you can use that to escape. You can use that to kind of pin someone down while your teammates come help you. There's a lot of different ability or different uses that you can use for that ultimate besides just executing. And by the way, it looks fantastic. Let's talk about Kuang's model. Just like I said, just real quick. I know a lot of people have already seen him. He looks cool. He looks regal. I don't miss the noodle at all. I know some people still might. I don't, and he has an amazing voice pack. He says "Mighty Sword," which is fantastic. It's a little bit of fan service for the people that knew the old noodle. So all around, the voice pack, the model, even the abilities, the way I foresee it playing, it looks very strong. However, let's talk about the meta. Where does Mr. Kuang fit? So jungle primarily. Jungle is going to be his cup of tea. This is where he's going to live and die, is in the jungle, bar none. That's where he's absolutely the strongest. But I feel like I have to throw him in the Freya bucket, which is an easy way to do it because Freya is also a magical melee assassin. So that's not much of a stretch, but hear me out on this one. So he can do solo, he can do mid, and he can do ADC. But the problem with middle and solo is the fact that he's going to be outcleared by stronger mid mages and solo warriors and maybe even solo mages. He's going to be outcleared, just like Freya is. You can put Freya in the solo lane, you can put Freya in the mid, but you're going to be struggling unless you were just really good and you can outplay your opponent. I see Kuang the same exact way. He's going to be kind of, he's going to be a cocky pick. You're going to put him over in the solo lane if you just know exactly what you're doing and you know that you can pull it off. As far as ADC, maybe. We just kind of have to see how good his boxing ability really is. And that's going to be contingent on the fact of his water illusion, because no one's going to let you walk up to them when you have Dragon Call all over you. Right? So it's not like Freya. Freya is a fantastic boxer because all of a sudden she banishes you, she runs up to you, she has lifesteal, she slows you, does most of all of your life in one altercation, and if you somehow get away, she still has her ultimate. Kuang isn't really like that. A lot of his abilities are straight and very close range. Like I said, Dragon Call, the most of your damage is going to come from melee attacks with that. You can slow with it, but you have no CC. You have no lockdown CC, and Smite is very I know Hi-Res is trying their best not to push us in that direction, but the game is becoming very bursty, very CC heavy. Kuang does not have any lockdown CC, so as far as his role in the meta and how good he's going to be compared to everybody else, that's going to be one thing that I foresee is going to hold him back a little bit, is the fact that he has no lockdown CC whatsoever. So his ganks are not going to be as strong as they could be. But like I said, his short range blink might help him a little bit, but he's not going to catch a Scylla. You know, he's not going to catch an On Her. He's not going to catch anyone that actually has a true leap. So we're going to have to see. I don't think he's super top tier, but unfortunately my biased eyes want him to be so good because he looks so cool. He has all of this history behind him. I want to just say he's top tier. He's going to be very, very good, but I don't think he's going to be super top tier. I think he's going to be mid tier, upper, you know what I mean? Like not top, not mid, just a little higher than mid. So once again, we shall see. The PTS will be up this weekend, and of course, everyone else will have him on the live servers next week. I will be bringing you videos of Kuang, don't you worry. And that's gonna do it for today's episode of SMITE Meta Casual News. Once again, don't forget to leave comments in the section below, share, like, and subscribe, and all that jazz. And we'll see you next episode.